Hi guys, I have come again to take another reacting video. The reaction video is about ancient human races we thought existed. Junk, the ancient rules of thought by which our predecessors fought their crushing minds, did throw a spark that sources the world and weakened the dark. Let no science fix our path if only numbers make its math. Our brains will run will surely see on some sweeter philosophy until beneath a quick sky atop the rebel we will stand and finally demystify the masses in fierce reprimand. Even an atomic blast can't rob the future from the past if we the incinerated race we still become the human race. So let's see the video about ancient human races we thought existed.
Giants. Over time, every human culture has had some sort of belief or legend involving the existence of a super-sized race. While very tall humans, often over 7 or 8 feet, have existed to fuel
It's
the
a
belief that
puzzling
there once
incident.
existed a race of giants, actual giants have been a little hard to come by. Thanks to the internet and a slew of cleverly doctored pictures over the last
Absolutely
decade,
peculiar.
there has been abundant evidence to show that a race of giants once existed. Okay, so the photos were proven fakes, but it still demonstrates that a fair number of people believe the Earth was home to a
Extremely
race of
puzzling
massive
matter.
human beings. Fairies. Apparently there are quite a few people who think Tinkerbell may be more real than you know. Fairies have always been rooted in the legends and folklore of various societies around the world.
Another
These tiny
strange
humanoid
occasion.
creatures were said to live in forests, often keeping out of sight. While some of us may laugh at the people of the past, a recent discovery of fairy remains across the British Isles have had some scratching
Truly
their heads.
curious.
Most have written the discovery off as a fake, but there are many who continue to believe that this is proof that tiny winged beings are more real than fiction.
Exceptionally strange adventure.
Werewolves. A race of humans who transform into hairy, fierce beasts seems to be a bit out there, but people did think werewolves existed at one time. From the 1850s to today, there has been a steady stream of medical records of people seeking help because
Peculiar
they
happening.
thought they were werewolves. In fact, these people were diagnosed as suffering from severe hallucinations. However, their insistence, in
Undoubtedly
combination with
positive.
the ever-present folklore that men could transform into howling, bloodthirsty beasts, did
Especially
nothing to diminish
peculiar
the belief that
escapade.
werewolves were a very real humanoid race. The Amazons. Born out of Greek mythology, this race of warrior women were said to have lived in modern-day Ukraine and Turkey. While the most famous Amazon to you and I
Really
today
curious
is surely
affair.
Wonder Woman, research by professors in the 19th century and the discovery of a burial site which contained taller than normal women near the Ural Mountains in Russia
Certainly
suggests to many that
strange.
the Amazons may have been more real than myth. They were said to be strong and fierce fighters who lived separate from men. There is
Tremendously
evidence to
curious
suggest this is true
proceeding.
to some degree, but researchers are probably still looking for the bulletproof bracelets and the invisible plane. Vampires. From Eastern Europe to Egypt to China, the vampire has been a central figure in folklore and myth for hundreds of years. Various regional beliefs mixed with the imagination of
Really
writers turned the
mystifying
vampire
matter.
into a very real figure over time. In Europe, for instance, the ability of writers like Bram Stoker to blend myth and imagination with a very
Surely
real
uncanny.
figure of Vlad Tepes, a Romanian prince, gave the vampire greater credibility among the population. Today, most of us may laugh at those
Immensely
who think vampires are
mystifying
real,
incident.
but not too long ago, the idea was not that far-fetched. Lemmies. For thousands of years, people recorded stories and believed the tales concerning these headless humans. Greek
Baffling
historians first wrote of
circumstance.
Lemmies in the 5th century when they described a race of men with their faces on their chest. Ancient Roman and 17th century English explorers continued the story by recording the existence
Absolutely
of these strange
inexplicable.
humans. Today, we have no evidence of their existence, but it is clear that for much of recorded human history, the Blemmies were believed to be very real. Perhaps they were a race that had really bad posture, or maybe their style
Hugely
of dress
baffling
gave explorers
exploit.
the impression their heads were on their chests. We'll never really know. Mermaids. One popular humanoid creature which sailors saw and talked about often was the mermaid. Half human, half fish, the stories of the mermaids spread around the world as fishermen and explorers traveled further and
Uncanny
further.
matter.
Today we know this race is more folklore than reality, but to a tired or lonely sailor staring off into the vastness of the ocean, a distant dolphin or
Unquestionably
manatee was
mystifying.
often all the brain needed to concoct a story of a sexy mermaid swimming among the waves.
Abundantly uncanny
Hobbits.
affair.
Okay, so these aren't hobbits like in the famous literary series, but the discovery of extremely small remains on an Indonesian island has more than a few people linking J.R.R. Tolkien's story with this find. Discovered on the island of Flores, the human
Another
remains are very
inescapable
small and suggest a race of
exploit.
humans who stood no taller than 3 feet. Experts are divided, with many saying these diminutive
Undeniably
humans were so
baffling.
small because they suffered from a degenerative disease. Others, unconvinced by the experts, believe these are in fact the remains of a hobbit-like race which
Uncommonly
once existed
inexplicable
12,000
circumstance.
years ago. Basawan. If North America has Bigfoot and Asia has the Yeti, then the people of Spain and France have the Basawan. Unlike the other large creatures mentioned, the Basawan has been described as more human-like, with the ability to
Perplexing
talk and
proceeding.
develop technology. These large humanoids are said to have lived in the Pyrenees Mountains, where they helped farmers with their herds of animals.
Indeed,
Many people think they were
impenetrable.
actually a relative of the Neanderthal, dying off only centuries ago. To put a spin on things, there are others who say the Basawan isn't
Truly
extinct,
perplexing
and that
affair.
recent unexplained encounters and grainy pictures suggest the creature is still alive and well, living in the mountains.
Dear viewers, if you like my reacting video, then please subscribe my channel. You can see many nice videos from my channel. So let's see.